Hey guys, so I know I told you in my last video that the next video was going to be a makeup geek haul, and then the video after that was going to be either the beginning of a series or a video about my all-time favorite eyeshadows. Or actually, no, that's not right. It's going to be about eyeshadows, but I'll tell you more about that when the time comes. But as it turns out, my package didn't come when they originally thought it was going to, and so I won't be able to do the makeup geek haul video today. And that's why I didn't do a video yesterday, because I was so disappointed that the package didn't come that I just didn't do a video at all. And then when I found out that it's coming today, my mailman isn't here yet, and I have something else I have to do later, so I'm going to do something else instead. Anyway, big long explanation. So today I'm doing a sort of a short beauty news video. What I tried to do was condense this into what I feel is the most important information that I could get my hands on right now. So the first thing I'm going to start off with isn't even about makeup, but it's something that I think a lot of you might be interested in. I'm not someone who really follows fashion, or I don't know, that's just not my thing. Makeup is my thing, but this really got my attention when I found out about it because, well, here's the thing. If you follow any British YouTube beauty gurus, then you might have seen some Primark hauls. Primark is a very popular clothing chain in the UK. It originates out of Ireland, I guess. That's where the company is based. But yeah, whenever I watch somebody who lives in the UK do a haul, a lot of times it's a Primark haul. And I think to myself, geez, you know, that clothing is kind of nice, because I enjoy like trendy type clothing. So whenever I see a Primark haul, I always think, oh, it would be so nice if we had those here. Well, guess what? We're gonna have those here, because the lady that owns the company has decided that she wants to conquer America, and she's opening 10 Primark stores in the United States over the course of the next year. So as it turns out, the very first store that she's opening is going to be in Boston, Massachusetts. And I live in Massachusetts. I don't live anywhere near Boston, but I'll tell you, I have said before that I have no interest in driving to Boston because the traffic is a nightmare, and my driving skills just, I'm a good driver, but when it comes to getting on the highway and driving in really heavy, intense traffic, I get very nervous. And Boston is one of the most difficult cities to drive in. If any of you have ever been there and attempted to drive in Boston, then you would know that it's very stressful. The roads and the way they're laid out are just crazy, and there's no logic to the way the city is laid out, because it's an old city, one of the very first ones in the country. So to try to drive on those roads is impossible. So what I'm looking at now is, I think I might look into maybe taking public transportation and going to Boston in September, because that's when the Primark store is going to open, is in September, because it would be worth it for me to maybe take a train to go there, because it wouldn't just be Primark that I would be going to. There are other things that I have wanted to go to for the longest time, things that I really can't get anywhere else. For example, Macy's in downtown Boston has an Inglot counter. I've been to an Inglot boutique, but that was only because I was on vacation in Las Vegas. Well, we don't have any plans to go back to Vegas anytime soon. But I would love to go back to an Inglot, and they have an Inglot counter at Macy's in downtown Boston. And also there is a Walgreens Look Boutique in Boston, and it's not all that far from the Macy's. I think it's within walking distance, but I'm not positive. But yeah, I've never been to a Walgreens Look Boutique. Again, the last time we went to Las Vegas, they opened one of those probably less than a year after our last trip to Vegas. And for those of you that don't know, Walgreens has a few stores that are like upscale and fancy and carry some high-end brands in them that are brands that aren't that easy to find anywhere else. It used to be they were the first people who carried Becca, but of course now Becca is at Sephora and Ulta, so it's not that difficult to find Becca anymore. But I know that there are some other brands that you can only get at a Walgreens Look Boutique that are, you know, harder to find brands. So anyways, I would want to go to the Walgreens Look Boutique, the Inglot counter at Macy's, and of course Primark. So just those three things alone would be worth it. Plus there is a Barney's department store somewhere in Boston, and I've never been to a Barney's. I had a chance to go when I went to Vegas, and for whatever reason I didn't go to the Barney's, which is dumb because again there are certain brands, beauty brands of makeup that you can only get at Barney's. And then there's also a Bloomingdale's in Boston that has a Space NK in it, and Space NK again only carries specific brands. So anyways, my point is it is well worth it for me to take some public transportation and go to Boston because there are so many things there that you can't get anywhere else but Boston if you live in New England. Okay, so Primark is coming is the bottom line with that, and that store is opening September, and then I think they're going to stagger the openings of all the other stores, and I don't know where exactly they're going to be in the United States, but from what I understand, Primark has been compared to H&M, but I feel like a more accurate comparison, even though I've never been to a Primark, I feel like a more accurate comparison would probably be to Forever 21 based on what I have seen on their website and what I have seen in hauls. I feel like it falls somewhere in between a Forever 21 and an H&M. So I love both those stores. I buy most of my clothes at Target, Walmart, Kohl's, Old Navy, just because of convenience, because of those are the stores that I have around where I live. But yeah, so I thought you would want to know about Primark coming. Okay, the next thing I want to let you know about is that CVS is having their semi-annual clearance sale. That is a time when CVS marks a bunch of things 50% off, some things even 75% off, and basically it's normally, not always, but it's normally because of items that are being discontinued and just being pulled from the shelf. So they try to just mark the prices way down to get rid of stuff, and that's exciting for anyone who has always wanted to try something and thought that maybe it was more than what they wanted to spend, and that gives you a chance to get between 50 and 75% off. They usually put little colored stickers on things, but not all the stores are good about doing that. So if you want to know what is on sale, the best thing to do is go to the Nouveau Cheap blog, and she has what she calls her master list, and as soon as she finds out about something that's going to be a part of that sale, she adds it to her list. And so she is constantly updating that. But if you're lucky enough to shop at a CVS that does sticker the merchandise when it goes on clearance like that, just look for the little colored dots, and if you're not sure, you can always just scan something yourself because CVS has those self-scanning machines. So it's mainly things though that are going to be discontinued. Okay, next up I want to tell you about a new limited edition collection from Sally Hansen, and it's part of their Complete Salon Manicure polishes. It's called, let me get the name right here, Beachside Astrologer Collection. And it's some sort of a tie-in with Cosmopolitan magazine, but basically what it is they are doing a nail polish for each astrological sign. And I've seen the collection and it looks like it's going to be a really fun collection with a lot of great colors. And I think they did a really good job choosing polishes for the different signs. I'm a Libra. I took a look at the Libra polish and I was like, yep, I love it. And the polish is definitely a good representation of my sign and who I am. And I think that I just think they did a really good job picking out polishes for the various signs. So take a look at that. All you have to do is type in Sally Hansen Beachside Astrologer Collection and you'll find pictures of it on the internet already, but it looks like it's going to be a good one. I tried to go through my collection to see if I had a dupe for the polish that they picked from my Libra sign, and I have some things that are similar, but I wouldn't say that I have a dupe for it. But I have some things that are close enough that I don't really need to get that, but I don't know, it's a stunner. It's a really, really beautiful polish that they picked for my sign, so I might have to get that. I don't know, we'll see. And then the last thing that I wanted to tell you about is MAC is going to be releasing some new lipsticks in the matte and retro matte formula, and they're going to be re-promoting all their matte lipsticks basically. And this is going to take place online May 28th and in stores June 11th. Everything is going to be permanent, so you don't have to like set your alarm clock or anything to get online at a specific day and time or anything like that. Yeah, everything will be permanent, but I have a feeling that the newer shades might go out of stock initially because there are certain shades that are very on trend right now that they're going to be promoting in this collection. And it's not really even a collection, it's just all their matte lipsticks. So I took a look at what they had and I realized that for me personally, I'm not really interested in any of the new shades that they're promoting, because there was one called Stone that's a very like brown gray taupey color, and I bought something like that by L'Oreal a few months ago and I don't really feel like that shade looks very good on me, so I won't be getting that. But so I looked at all the new shades and I was like, well, some of them are pretty, but what it made me realize by looking at the entire collection was that there are some shades that were released probably a year and a half ago of the retro matte formula that I never got, and I kind of wish that I had. So what I'm going to try to do is pick up those shades as soon as possible, because I'm afraid that when they get re-promoted with this collection that they might go out of stock again, because they were really, really big hits when they were released originally, and they've been available all this time. So yeah, they kind of went off my radar for a long time, and I thought, ooh, those are gorgeous, I should really have those. So you'll be seeing those soon, probably in a haul video, because I intend to pick those colors up as soon as I am able to. So the only other thing that I want to mention is, if you haven't seen the new Charlotte Tilbury Summer Limited Edition collection, I'm still seeing people show that in videos, and that's out of my price range. I really can't get any Charlotte Tilbury, but man, it is a gorgeous collection. And every time I see a video where somebody shows something that they bought from that, it makes me wish that I had more disposable income, because it is such a nice collection, and I really wish I could get some of those cream eyeshadows. They are just gorgeous. So if you have any interest in that, I would say, you know, act on that quickly, because I'm sure that all that stuff is going to sell out really fast. Charlotte Tilbury, as far as where it's sold, it's not sold in store in any stores where I live, but you can order it from certain places. I think Nordstrom sells Charlotte Tilbury. And I think there's a few different places where you can get it from, but I don't know where you can buy it, like to actually see it in store. I know they don't sell it in any stores anywheres within a 100-mile radius of me. But yeah, you might want to just take a look at that. So that's what's new in beauty news, and hopefully if my package comes today like it's supposed to, tomorrow will be a Makeup Geek haul. Bye you guys. Thanks for watching.